Welcome to Left Night with Kendra Dawsey, and here's your host, Kendra Dawsey.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing today, Zach?
Oh, just fine. Tired, but fine. How about yourself?
I'm also tired, and I am also, perhaps even reluctantly, fine. Why must I continue this every day, this farce of being fine? How dare I, you know?
I was afraid you were going to say, why must I continue this every week? And I'm like, oh, is the show good?
No, I meant existence, not the show. The show is fine.
Well,
Yeah.
We don't have to get too philosophical on the idea of existence.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We could skip over that.
We could, but I don't know if that's fun for anybody but us.
I don't think it's even fun for us, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's just putting everyone in pain. So you're so right about that. This week, so a lot's been happening this week. We're going to have an extended Things Are Happening session because we want to, so like before we were trying to be informative. Now we're just going to go straight into just like talking like a average dude's podcast. We're going to be the next Come Town.
Okay.
I've never listened to Come Town. Is that a bad thing to be? I don't know.
We don't have to. We don't have to mention Come Town twice. Oh fuck! I did it.
Come Town.
I'll
say it fourth time. Like Come Town. Yeah. I hope they like post this on their page and then we get a lot of hate views. That's my goal. That's money spot.
Sounds great. Is there anything that you do want to discuss this week?
I mean, there's so much happening. The Democrats like basically ate shit nationally.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's probably a good starting point. Is as everybody knows, the elections were on Tuesday. And today is Thursday. Right now it is Thursday. And the show may going forward be on Wednesdays, which is what today is not. This is all very clear and easily understandable. The Democrats ate shit in a way that I don't think was surprising to anybody smart.
Same. I don't know about every single place nationally, but Virginia was a big one because there was a Republican who ran on critical race theory being like evil and being taught to kindergartners because of course kindergartners could understand the edification of race. And then the Democrat was just kind of like, yeah, I don't even know the Democrat's name, honestly. But
I believe it was Terry McAuliffe.
Okay.
Who I believe was involved in a blackface scandal.
Oh yeah. I mean, are you really in US politics if you haven't been a blackface scandal? Like what? Come on. Like even up north they're doing it. Even Trudeau did it. You gotta have a blackface scandal.
I guess I mean the Canadian Liberals sure love Trudeau, so maybe they were trying to capture a little bit of that that good
blackface scandal. Yeah.
Everybody loves. They ate shit in that state. They offered nothing. They did not do a very good job. Even without the critical race theory stuff, like they never explained what they were doing with the schools. So there was open when it was going to be opening it. So there was like a huge disparity between like people with school children in terms of who they voted for from what I've seen. Because people are sometimes I loathe education as a political concept and where we talk about it, because a lot of times we are just sort of talking about all of the other problems, but for children, it's just more digestible. Like a lot of the conversation about education is really should be a conversation about poverty, because we have so many children in this country growing up in poverty, and therefore we have very bad school test results because of that. Because
Yeah.
guess what? Long division is not easy if you didn't have breakfast.
It's hard. It's hard for me, and I often eat breakfast.
I'm an adult with a full belly, and it's not easy for me.
Yeah,
yeah. So I do dislike the way that is, but like at the same time, like you have to understand on some level, like that's the type of stuff. Like when you talk about what's going to affect people's children, that's like I'm not saying it's good. It's just that's what it is. You have to know that if you are running for governor.
Yeah. Yeah, I am not necessarily the most I haven't been keeping up that great with like national or like, different races around the country, but it seems like overwhelmingly, and we saw this, recently in Congress, the Democratic Party, like, people know something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
America is also full of racists that are easily guided. But if like someone came in and was like, hey, the thing that's wrong is that like, your prescription drugs cost too much in this, then people would be like, yeah, I could see that in my life. Like there's a lot of insulin and get behind it. But the Democrats are kind of like, oh, like they aren't really speaking to anything like material, which I think we've seen over the past literally 6 years. Like it's been a while, but they aren't really speaking to material things that could make like, I mean, they keep using all these like abstract nouns like justice and truth and like togetherness and whatever. And then the Republican Party, who like knows how to manipulate like racists in this country, which is like a solid portion of the country, they're like, oh, something's wrong, we know something's wrong, and that wrong thing is critical race theory, when it's not. It's obviously not. But people are going to be like, hey, that guy gets it. Whereas like, if like, and then also like, I think there's also a lot of white people who are like, I don't want Medicaid because that means a Black person gets it, which is bizarre. That's another issue. But things aren't going well. Like
even in red states, like when they vote on Medicaid expansion, it like always passes.
Yeah.
Like people do actually like, but like they let. It's not so much that most people like that. It's just that the Democrats and the media are very much willing to let racists control the conversation.
I think that's also it. We're not really good at, I say we as if I'm a Democrat. I was gonna say. I mean, we're two fuckers on a Twitch show, but like broadly, non-Republicans, let's have that very broad, have not, I won't even say we, because I feel like we do it, but like non-Republicans aren't really good to be at saying like, no, that's dumb. Like we've had so many people try to explain critical race theory to people who don't know it. The point isn't what critical race theory is or isn't. The point is that if people want to be like, I need to politically say I don't like Black people, that's like the new way to say it.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't like critical race theory. So like, I wish there was someone that's just like, that's dumb that you're mad at this. People are dying. And I also like all of my political instincts are bad. I think I would literally, if I ran for any sort of political office, I would probably lose people who wanted to vote for me just by being like rude and being like, that's stupid. But like, I it'd be so nice to hear someone just say that's stupid. Like that is not a real concern. Like a trans woman peeing in a bathroom is not a problem.
Right.
Like, let's talk about how much money you're making.
Right.
Like, shut the fuck up. Anyway.
I would love to see a candidate tell a constituent to shut the fuck up.
I mean, I know Joe did, but like he did it for a stupid reason. Like, I think the constituent was like, oh, like, what about NAFTA? And he was like, shut up. But like, which is NAFTA is something that affects people materially. Like it affects, like how much.
I mean, it was a very big talking point for Trump in 2016.
Which is, So like, but like if someone, not even if I were running for any political office, because I have cursed and said too many wild things on the internet to do that. But if anyone came up to me and was like, what do you like? Are you concerned about critical race theory? I'd just be like, shut the fuck up. No, I'm not. Like, eat my ass. I have things to do.
Well, first of all, if they eat your ass, that's going to keep you from getting the things you need to do done. So it has to be one of those or the other.
Metaphorically, not the literal sense. Like, I don't want them to eat the booty like groceries. I want them to just fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yes. I get it. Well, there was another reason on MSNBC that I didn't watch MSNBC because I'm not that much of a masochist. But from my understanding, on two separate occasions, a pundit blamed the loss in Virginia on the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yeah, they just blame it on random shit. Like, no, that's not like.
Yeah, it's very silly. It's a very silly thing to think that is like a kitchen table issue that people were upset about. But I guess you could say because one of the strongest Democrat bases in Virginia, and the reason why Virginia has gone blue in the 21st century is the expansion of the Homeland Security, and like that whole sort of the expansion of the State Department has brought more lanyard type dead-eyed war criminal weirdos who vote blue into the state of Virginia. Yeah. So that is directly responsible. So maybe there's a few thousand votes here and there, like some of your stronger constituencies you might have lost by leaving the Iraq War. But here's an idea: don't make a coalition with war criminals.
Oh, you know the Democrats would never do that. They're like, but this is my emotional support war criminal. What are you saying? I can't make a. Where are you saying I can't make a coalition with like the person who makes like Raytheon or whatever? Like, why not? Yeah.
So that's a dumb one. New Jersey, though, New Jersey did not elect a Republican.
True New Jersey pride, the Sopranos, and not electing Republicans sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. And only barely. And he's still like a Wall Street guy. But
yeah. And then more locally, for both of us as Boston residents in Boston, we have gotten our first Asian American or like first elected woman of color mayor, because our current mayor is a woman of color, but she wasn't elected. She was appointed. It's Michelle Wu. I honestly don't know that much about her platform. Someone in one of my many Facebook groups was like, oh, she hates cops, which that makes me like her, you know, if that's true. I feel like it's not, but like, I love a mayor who hates cops.
I don't think she hates cops. I do think that she, that Anissa Asabi George loves cops. So her opponent loves cops. So
okay.
I think by comparison, no, there are some things like on police that Wu definitely has some bad views. She I believe supported Kim Janey's plan to clear out Mass and Cass.
That's really messed up. Yeah,
which is extremely fucked up. And I hope that somebody can get her to see how fucked up that is. But I also am I'm not very often a one issue voter. But if there is one candidate who's talking about rent control, it kind of does become a one issue thing for me at that point.
That's a large portion of my expenses, you know, like that's a pretty, like, you know, if I had to pay less money in rent, I'd have more money for other things, you know, like I think rent solidly makes up 40% of my expenses each.
Oh, okay. You would be what they call rent burdened.
I am I think I'd still be rent burdened, but I'm also cheap. So I just don't purchase a lot of things, which I know I'm saying wearing a new blazer.
Okay, so it's not 40% of your income, it's 40% of your spending.
Yes, it's not 40. Actually, it might be 40% of my I'm going to check. Anyway.
Okay. You do not have to disclose your finances on Twitch.
I'll fucking do it. Okay, fucking Hassan Piker. I don't know how much money that motherfucker makes, but I make $51,000 for my day job, like before taxes, and then I have a few side hustles. But but yeah, after like taxes and healthcare and like all of that stuff, it's obviously less. And my rent might actually be like about a third of my income, maybe.
That is the threat. In case anybody is wondering, 30%, 33% of your income, if you're paying more than that, you are rent burdened. And if you are paying more than 50%, you are severely rent burdened.
Yes.
And the number of people in both of those categories has risen tremendously since 2008. That's my thing that I mention in every class, and the rest of the class hates me because I don't shut up.
Well, Zach, how much do you make?
Like 40 something.
Like after taxes?
I would say that with taxes it's like in the low 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It might be at like 38. I don't know.
Yes. I don't pay attention to the numbers because if I don't pay attention to them, then they can't hurt me. I can't.
That's what the Democrats say.
Right. My theory is that I don't have to I can play it cool and not be poor if I figure like rich people don't know how much money they make. So that I'm getting into that billionaire mindset by not knowing how much money I make.
Oh no! Oh God! That's probably as good of a place of any to take a short commercial break. Come back to hear more financial tips after these messages.
Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying today's show. Real quick, we have a special public service announcement that is our sponsor this week from the Health and Home Awareness Group. So what's going on right now is that like unemployment is very high and the eviction moratorium's expiring. The benefits for unemployment are ending, and the Biden administration, they don't want to do very much about it, which is why instead of doing something, they've sponsored popular shows like ours to have an awareness program regarding health and home and employment. So they think that maybe there's some people who don't know what jobs are. It is where you do labor in exchange for compensation. And most people have to do them because they don't have a choice. You kind of just, you don't live in a world that allows you to get away with not having them under a lot of circumstances. Homes are the things that you live in so that the rain doesn't fall on you. You can keep your stuff there. Sometimes you have roommates or family, and it's nice. It's nice to have a home. So they don't know. Maybe like people are getting evicted because they don't understand what a home is. This is about awareness. So we're getting awareness. Health is when you're not sick, so then you don't die. Because if you die in the game, you die in real life, and the game is America. So yeah, what do you expect them to do about it? Have a comprehensive solution, do something to material improve your life? No, this is all about market solutions, and when the market solutions fail, it's probably just a problem of notoriety and people not having awareness. So this is an awareness campaign. Being employed and not wallowing away, unsure of where your next meal is going to come from. That's good for you. Not being homeless is good for you, and being healthy is good for you. Because why else would people have issues with any of those other than maybe they didn't know about them? So now we did our part. Thank you, Mr. Biden.
All right, and we're back. So we talked about the Democrats. We talked about our own finances. If you want to give me money, if you want to see pictures of my feet for money, just let me know. But let's talk about the really exciting things.
I'll just cut you off.
No, Zach, there is someone out there for everyone. Okay, someone would be into your feet.
I mean, I don't think I'm unattractive. I just think I'm attractive ankles up.
Even then, someone's into your feet. I'm just saying. We gotta boost ourselves, gas ourselves up. Anyway,
okay. So
there are more. Well, yeah, I was gonna say there's more exciting things happening beyond electoral politics.
Yes.
There's hella strikes. There's mad strikes.
Yes, the John Deere strike is continuing. They rejected the first proposal. I know that I read something that said that a few weeks, like a week ago, it said that Kellogg's was going back to the table, and people within the union said that they weren't very serious about it, that it was sort of more of a media thing. But so they're not they don't the union does not think that Kellogg's is serious at the table. There was there were a couple of other strikes going on right now.
Yeah, so there's the Harvard grad students union, I think, is on strike or was on strike for a period of time. And like, I mean, I know it's Harvard, you know, obviously it's a bougie institution, but like grad workers, you know, they're not the people that have a lot of power in those institutions. They probably get paid $30K like before taxes. Like they don't have a lot, and then they like don't have a lot of support. I think same thing is happening at Columbia University, where the grad students have also gone on strike. There are some hospitals going nerds. Yeah. I mean, yeah, nerds coming together for good. That's what I want to see more of. Less war criminals, more strikes out of Harvard. Okay. There's a few hospitals. I think Starbucks is voting on a unionizing vote. And like, this is the stuff I want to see. Like, I don't care about what like Bread McToast Man running for governor in fucking Wyoming or whatever the fuck is doing. I want to hear how people are fucking with their bosses. Like, that is what helps me wake up in the morning.
Right. Know? Yes. I think that, yes, as we said before, if you were surprised that the Democrats screwed up the election, I don't think you're very smart. And if you are, but I will forgive that. If you still think that the Democrats are the way forward, you are irredeemably dumb. You have to realize that it's like there rank and file unionism, mutual aid, you know, sort of, there could be some work done by just like pestering and annoying your elected representatives into submission. But working within the frameworks of these institutions, unless you are there to like turn the lights off or to sabotage them, you know, release you know, some sort of like a stink gas, like not like a poison, like a fart spray.
I get it. You're not advocating for anything illegal.
Yes, I don't think it's illegal to spray a fart spray at the DNC. I can't say for certain, but I wouldn't convict you if I'm on the jury.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes. So yes, we should be moving on and focusing on more things like unions if we're trying to build power.
I think that's really that's where people are going to learn how to. I think that's the entry point for a lot of people into politics, and a lot of people that politics usually does exclude. So, like, I mean, like, obviously, you know, like people of color, like women, and but also people who are just fucking busy and don't have a lot of money. Like, you know, you probably don't have time to knock on doors on behalf of some candidate that might actually give you, or like probably won't give you anything that they're promising. But like, if you're at work and you're like, wow, my job sucks. How could I make it better? That's something that it's easier to put your work into. So yeah, keep unionizing. It's great.
And I've always, like, obviously, like we are covered in capitalist propaganda everywhere we go and all the time. But you hear like all of the stuff about like black owned businesses or like black entrepreneurs and like supporting basically, they're not saying it, but they're supporting the creation and expansion of black bourgeoisie. And I always wondered, like, I mean, it's not my place necessarily to start something like this, but I would be very interested if there was some sort of group that tried to unionize like majority black like workplaces or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there have been historically, but I think they happen in places where the employers were usually white.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, like, and I mean, I also buy things from black owned businesses, but it's true. And like, it's not the same thing as buying something from like fucking Raytheon or like, you know, but
and a lot of black owned businesses are like sole proprietors where it's just like one guy or gal or one person just doing a lot of work. And then, you know, that's so sole proprietorship is, you know, they you know, even Cuba allows recently expanded sole proprietorship. Like, you know, that's but what else? This is unrelated, but I really need to talk about. I really want to talk about all of these hooting and hollering people who really thought that they were going to go to Dallas and they were going to see JFK Jr. show up.
Yeah, that's weird. I have no, like, we really live in the darkest timeline if like people were fooled by someone online on like fucking 4chan and they're like, yeah, JFK is still alive and he's gonna, like, JFK Jr. is still alive and he's gonna resurrect in Dallas. Of all things to believe.
Yes.
Like, so, why?
All right. Would you like to know the genesis of this?
Sure. Yeah.
So this is like pre-QAnon. You know how like in the 90s there were people with all sorts of conspiracy theories about how the Clintons were killing people, like the Clintons.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. So this is where that comes from. Like, for those people, the death of JFK Jr. in like 1998 or whatever, he's like the most famous, other than like I guess Vince Foster is like the one that they always mention. But he is the one who, like, the Clintons took his plane down because he was going to run against Hillary in New York, or like I don't know exactly. But for a very long time pre-QAnon, people thought that Hillary Clinton killed JFK Jr. So so this goes all the way back to that. And in the 90s, JFK Jr. had a magazine called George, which was supposed to be like, a I don't even know, like a lifestyle men's magazine, but for like with a politics slant or whatever. It's a very dumb magazine that went under. But JFK Jr. would write little like things at the beginning of each quarterly issue or whatever. So it became a big thing for QAnon people to try to find clues in the things that he wrote there. And like there was probably some piece in there once about Trump. So that like showed to them that him and Trump were actually working together and that he didn't actually die. And that listen, it rules. I'm going to be honest with you. 100, at least there were. From what I saw, there were. I'm bad at estimating, but I would guess there were at least 200 people there. Just
that is
so certain that JFK Jr., the man who's died in a plane crash in the late 90s, was going to re-reveal himself and reinstate Trump as president. I don't know what they thought he was going to do when he came back.
I have no idea.
But
yeah, I mean, I guess if people are losing faith in the church, you got to put your faith in a dead politician. That's the American way. And some people put their faith in that dead politician to rise up from the dead,
right,
because of a magazine they put out. I don't get it.
Yes.
I'm not going to be, I heard the people who like think they're least likely to get involved in cults are the most likely to get involved in cults because they're like, oh, I'm so smart that this cult is totally right. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't think I'd be able to join a cult because I might accidentally be in a cult now. Like, I don't know. I try to be open to like being told I'm wrong, but like, it is hard for me to empathize with, which is like also not a great thing because it's a lot of the, like, there's going to need to be people to deprogram these people, but they're like people really got sucked into QAnon. It's just astounding to me.
Kendra, I'm reading the chat right now, and we have several messages of people pledging their undying allegiance to you and your church. So I think we might have accidentally started a cult here.
How about, okay, if you are a member of my church, send me $200 and I'll send you a feet pic. You could do whatever you want with it. Wow. Anyway, so that's the end of our show today. So there's nothing coming up after this, but stick around to this channel, to MB Studios. We got a Patreon. We got this, we got that. And yeah, do you have anything that you'd like to add, Zach?
Oh, yeah. I just want to close. So I was very excited to be on the NBC News last night or on Tuesday.
I saw
night,
that.
And like stupidly excited to be used as B-roll, which I shouldn't have been. But they did a story about St. Louis while I was there, and Lester Holt was going around looking at stuff. It was mostly, surface level. And I wish I had a chance to speak because I would have told Lester Holt, hey, investigate what happened to all of those Ferguson protesters who have died mysteriously. That's something, if you're going to fly out to St. Louis, why don't you look into that instead of talking about crime rates and how long it takes to get to the top of the arch? Because those people died in some real weird ways, and I think the cops did it, but I'm not.
And then you probably would have disappeared, but that's okay, or that's not okay. Like, we don't want you to disappear. We don't want any more people disappearing. So yeah, that is our show. There was something. Oh, I was about to say I could promote myself, I guess. Yeah, I have a website. Look up my shows there if you want to hear me tell jokes that I wrote in person. And Zach is a great silver fox, so we're doing great. All right. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next week.